Hello everyone. My name is Topher Malone and I'd like to give a warm thank you for sharing this moment in time with us. I know these past years have been a lot, not to mention this week, as we celebrated trans awareness. Transgender Day of Remembrance, the holiday, was started in 1999 by transgender advocate Gwendolyn Ann Smith as a vigil to honor the memory of Rita Hester, a trans woman who was killed in 1998. The vigil commemorated all the trans people lost to violence since Rita Hester's death and began an important tradition that has become the annual Transgender Day of Remembrance. Roses seeks to highlight the losses we face due to anti-transgender bigotry and violence. We know Black and brown trans girls often experience higher levels of violence at home, school, and work. Without saying, trans folk are no strangers to the need to fight for our rights, and the right simply to exist is first and foremost. Experiencing obscene levels of erasing transgender people, sometimes in the most brutal ways possible, it is vitally important that those we lose are not forgotten, and that we continue to fight for justice while keeping their names alive. As I pass the stage to my fellow Rose sister, I ask you to join us as we ground ourselves and heal today. Take it away, Amias.
Thank you so much, Topher, for starting us off today. I want to introduce myself. I'm Amias Gonzalez. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I am a member on the Roses Council. So before we get into our grounding exercise, I want to make sure I acknowledge the land that I'm on today, which is Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Ute land, also known as Denver, Colorado. So land acknowledgements are a really important thing, and a important custom for a lot of Native communities and nations. And for non-Indigenous communities, land acknowledgements are a powerful way of showing your respect and also honoring the Indigenous peoples of the land that you work and live on. Acknowledging is a very simple way of just resisting that erasure of Indigenous history. Look at all the places that are named other things, even though they're Indigenous places. And so we need to continue doing that so we can honor and invite the truth into the world and into all spaces for our Indigenous siblings. And I also want to acknowledge that today can be really difficult. Today can be really hard to talk about. It can be stressful and painful and anxiety inducing and all these other things. And it's hard to keep your mind at ease when there's so many people around you that could be in pain. And also so many people that are in pain or that have been taken from us. And that can be really hard to deal with. So we want to prepare our bodies for these stressors that might come up. And that's why we want to begin by grounding ourselves in this space and time. And so anytime that these thoughts come about, it can also affect your breathing and kind of take your breath away. And that's not something that you want to deal with, something that you want to have. And so to help regain control of that breathing, you want to take slow, deep, and purposeful breaths while focusing on the air, filling your lungs before pushing that air out. And you grow more calm and more in control of each breath. And with that, I want you to get into a comfortable position. Sit, stand, kneel, sit on the floor, whatever feels best to you, wherever you can find that sweet spot. Take a moment to look inwards and take notice of your body in that space right there. And you also want to allow yourself to settle into doing nothing, giving whatever energy and momentum around you the space to run its course instead of engaging and giving it more fuel. You want to let it go, let it be. So by staying steady and just letting everything run its course, you allow it to run out of gas, and you can start to notice what remains once the dust has settled, once it's all settled, and you rest with it. and you really want to focus on your breathing now. And so you want to breathe in through your nose on a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold that breath for a short count of 3, 2, 1. And then exhale out of your mouth as slowly as possible on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we want to repeat those steps. Slow and deep breaths 3 more times. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in your nose. Hold that for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just repeat this 2 more times. Okay, as you're finishing those breaths, let's try to return our attention back to our surroundings as we end this grounding exercise. You can open your eyes. You can feel the space, get into the space now again with everyone. So I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to ground yourselves in this space today, and ground yourself with me and everyone. And I hope that you can continue to use this in the future, expand on it, use different breaths, whatever makes you feel most in control. And meditation isn't the only form of release of these emotions and these feelings that we like to practice at Roses. And so next you'll be hearing a spoken word piece from Linda LaBeija, an actress, model, writer, poet, teacher, and all-around creative. And open your hearts and minds to what she has to share. So Linda, you can take it away.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Linda La, and I will be reading today a piece called Confinement. I wrote this piece at the start of the pandemic, at the start of quarantine, and it's up on my website at lindalaw.world. There you can find links to my work, my music, my recordings, my blog where this is posted. If you want to donate, please feel free. It will be much, much, much appreciated. You can send me donations via Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal at Linda Law FM. That's capital LINDA, capital LA, capital FM. You can also find me on any social media platform. I'm still working on my TikTok. But yes, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Linda Law, that's LINDALA. My Instagram is lindalaw.world, same as my website, so please feel free to check it out. This piece is titled Confinement. The birds are chirping. Baby says maybe, perhaps it means the rain is done. Many I speak to feel like the earth is healing herself. Nia says she's purging and we're all a part of it. The sound of odd laughter or distant exchange, depending on the weather, depending on the day, are the more pleasant sounds that may cut through contaminated air and echo and wave, 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 wave. Don't shake. Those moments are seldom. It's mostly quiet humming now. More frequent are the sirens, even when chatting with friends and family. All this digital video correspondence is starting to make me feel unreal, like life is unreal. I hear the sirens in their backgrounds, in the distance, on Zooms, in this distancing, At first, it feels like regular everyday New York City noise, but that's during the day, I guess. At night, the streets are empty enough for ambulances to pass through without ever blaring a siren, so that all I see from the street window are emergency lights. I think I'm finally getting used to the true sight of red, white, and blue as we wait for governments to send capital, trusting systems who've done us wrong for so long. It feels backwards to do more. My anxiety is so high lately. I'll think I got something stuck in my throat. My world, it moves so fast today. The past, it seems so far away. Headlight squeezes so tight that I can't breathe. Funny how we all can't breathe now. The quiet that has fell upon this city is almost deafening. How desolate it feels to no longer be busy, no longer be doing the most for the least, no more skipping meals, no more overworking, overcharging, overpaying, convening, parlaying, no more hanging out without a doubt that you will go home when you want to think our previous reality is now a mere dream. A privilege, some luck we will need if we think of how even to get back to something anything like it was. We're exploring more theory and spirit. Bodies transmitted on boxes, my digits on phones and on clocks. Ran out of moans, had to cop from a member of community who knew me for my work and my poetry. Girls looking out for the girls. I said, well, hell, if this is still Mother Earth and this earth is still God, then there's still some beauty. Octavia E. Butler taught me that we are seeds and that God has changed, so we can be that beauty. But how do you contain what is meant to grow wild? They say we adapt, we be still. We was always inside. We always been inside. Boats, inside shacks, inside chambers, inside cages, inside houses, sometimes in darkness through night trying to stay camouflaged. We've been inside in the back of everything inside. This should be easy for what our ancestors have been through. My Jamaican priestess pastor told me that we come from good bones, we come from strength, we come from genocides, we determine what's next. Sometimes I find myself in the fridge forgetting what I opened it for, dazing, my mind in 20 places. My mind in 20 places. Grateful for food, grateful for laughter, dazing, worried for the future, saddened by death, dazing. Mirrors remind me how attached to superficial beauty I was. All those nights. All those nights I pushed to pull, to put on, make up, and move through show. Now there's nothing I would love to do more. I wish we weren't such a fickle species, but then we wouldn't be hungry and full of knowledge perhaps and ideas and thought. I hear helicopters every now and again. They sent the same giant Navy they sent to PR when that hurricane hit. This big boat to save the city and provide a beacon of hope only to accept 3 patients. A boat probably bigger than the Intrepid, wider than this very silly American system, looking like a big Nurse Joy floating on in. My brother called me today. He's serving time at a state psychiatric facility upstate. Apparently he's been arrested again for assault and robbery. I still haven't gotten used to people asking about my family so much. It's such a touchy subject, though I'm grateful for the sentiment. As we lose so many of our elders, I've gotten so much better at not crying. After I get off the phone, I'm not even sure if he's aware of what's happening in the outside world. As long as they're alive, I will say they're fine, my brothers. I have hope that I will teach again. So to my brothers, know this femme cannot help you today. For better or worse, I must stand away because everything I had feels halted, dismayed. So I must conserve my energy for me. I don't see the humanity. I see genocide waiting on balconies, population control. We must remember that fear kept slavery going, so I will not stay inside. But I will keep my immune system strong. I shall find a new way to somehow belong in this new world as we know it. I will try to stay strong in soul and in my spirit. But you know, I saw a man the other day, after I finally went to visit the house I grew up in that someone had forced my mother out of and taken. It was cleaned and gutted. Best I'd ever seen it. New appliances, counters, floors, everything. No furniture, but each room was a different color. The back was still broken open. Me and my boyfriend, we snuck in through the backyard, full of old tree stumps and cigarette butts. It feels nice to say. It used to be nice to say. Me and my boyfriend. But anyway, I cried about everything they threw away. All the memories I'll never have again. All the pain that happened. All the payments. All the history. All the debt. All the repairs. And we walked up Aqueduct through and through. And there was a man on 183rd Street blaring disco, piercing through the stillness. Thelma Houston, don't leave me this way. And I couldn't help but dance. And I danced forward past him, keeping my 6-foot distance, and I waved. And he screamed over and over, forget Corona, forget Corona, forget Corona. That's right, you dance. And we watched each other a while. He watched me as I danced away toward Fordham, looking backward at him play. Because all we could do was watch. It's like we wanted to touch because all we could do was watch. And not in a sexual way, just an embrace or a hug. Like we wanted to tell each other it's going to be all right. Or like we wanted to tell each other it's always been all right. Because we always been inside. Or like we just wanted to spin or bump or high five. Or maybe he did want to kiss me. Because maybe he hadn't kissed anyone in so long. Maybe he did want to hug me. Because maybe he hadn't hugged anyone in so long. I don't want to spend the rest of my life finding new ways to feel freedom after our ancestors fought so hard for it. But I guess nothing is promised or entitled. I walked by the Hudson River with my dearest friend Atifa. She gave me the name Linda. And she reminded me that to hope is cute, but to believe is better.
Thank you, Linda La, for that beautiful spoken word piece. I want to ask everybody who is viewing this video to take a moment to themselves right now and prepare themselves. We will be naming off the fallen trans siblings from this past year.
Tiffany Banks, Samaj Billingsley, A.C. Morrison, Maya Allen, Dee Dee Ricks, Maddie Hoffman, Aaron Lynch, Candy Red, Hayden Davis, Mauricio Castro, Cherry Bush, Keisha Chanel Gator, Martasia Richmond, Kitty Monroe, Shamaya Giselle Marie, Brazil Johnson, Sasha Mason, Shanalika Yalela Dior Hemingway, Nedra Sequence Morris, Ray Muscat, Fern Feather, Ariana Mitchell, Maya Love Parker, Kenyetta Webster, Catherine Newhouse, Tatiana LaBelle, Ploma Vasquez, Matthew Angelos Pimpito, Naomi Skinner, Caprice Ramos, Duval Princess, Amar J. Ledge.
Thank you, Aliyah, for sharing the names of those we have lost. Those are the names of the folk that we know of, but we are well aware that those are not all the ones that we have lost this year. Those are the ones who have been reported. Those are the ones who have been reported correctly in the news and not misgendered and not their stories made into lies and spectacles. I want to give a thank you to our transgender at this point, Monica Roberts, for being the reason why we have inclusive reporting. When we hear our stories on these news channels and these reporters are sharing our stories and they're being affirming and inclusive, it's because of Monica Roberts. I want to give her roses now, giving her flowers for really spearheading that for us. Please join with me for a few more moments of silence just to honor those who have lost, honor their spirits, honor all that they have contributed to this world in this fight while they're alive, and what they will continue to contribute to us as our ancestors in the years to come as they fuel us from beyond. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Thank you for viewing this video. The fight has just begun and it's not over. And we will continue to fight those who are still here, those who still have the ability to. But I really want to urge everybody who's watching this video, trans or not, check on your neighbors, check on your community members, check on those Black and brown trans femmes in your life, those Black and brown trans mass folk in your life, all the trans folk, because a lot of times we go through it and we're suffering in silence. We need our allies, our friends, our supporters to check in on us, make sure we're good, fight for us, be our voice if you have that privilege of being able to go in a room and people wanting to listen to what you have to say. We need our allies to put that action in their activism, show up for us, uplift our stories so that we do not die in vain, so that our stories are not lost. That's what we need. And to those who feel like they have the right to take it upon themselves to end somebody else's life, that deep breath is for you. I want to say thank you for everybody who has watched this video. Thank you for spreading TDOR with roses. Please follow our account so you can keep up with us and everything that we do. The video of all the pictures and bios of those who were reportedly lost this year, you can find that on hrc.org. Want to keep up everything about roses and the gender justice leadership programming that we have at GC Network. You can follow our Instagram at ourtranstruth or go to ourtranstruth.org and keep up with us. Please be safe, y'all. Have a nice night.